Joining us now, he is the new Ravens punter, Ravens fourth-round pick, Jordan Stout, with us on GCR. Jordan, it is Glenn and Paul. It's great to chat with you. Thank you for taking the time for us, and congratulations on being a Baltimore Raven.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Jordan, can you take me through? Did you have a feeling going into Saturday about where it is that you were going to end up? Did you know that this was a legitimate possibility?
I did. I talked to Coach Randy Brown quite a bit, and through the process, he kept telling me that he has several fourth-round picks, and I knew eventually that one of those might have been me. Just had to wait it out.
I mean, it worked out okay for you. When in the process did you start to feel like the Ravens were the team? Like as this was going on, was there any one particular conversation or meeting, or was it just about that relationship with Randy Brown?
Well, through my private workout I had with Coach Brown, I knew that there was a good chance. But then, is after Friday, I knew I didn't go in the third round that I was definitely going to be a Raven.
I mean, there were a lot of picks in the fourth round. There were.
Yeah, I know.
They had,
I mean, it was a no-brainer.
right? They had basically like a third of the fourth round picks were being
I know, it was unreal.
made. Jordan, your path. Let me dive into you and your background. How did you get into football and specifically into punting and kicking? When did you in your life like know, hey, this isn't just something that I can do for fun or to hang out with the guys. Like this is maybe my path and what's going to end up being my vocation as I get older.
Yeah, so I played soccer my whole life, and about my sophomore year of high school, or ninth grade, oh, it was ninth grade, yeah, that's right. We were at soccer practice, and just practicing, and then the quarterback for the high school team came out, and he's like, hey, we need a kicker. Everyone, can you guys line up and kick a ball for me? And he lined everyone up, and some made it, some missed, and then I made a 40-yarder. And he's like, all right, you're going to play football next year. And then I was like, all right, I have to talk to my mom because she was always against me playing football. But it worked out for both of us.
Yeah, it worked out okay, I would say, Jordan. It worked out decently. So it goes from kicking and punt. I know you've done both of them, but kicking and punting are two very different things. Obviously, as a soccer player, once you started playing football, did you just immediately say, hey, I should probably figure out if I could also drop the ball and kick it really far? Like, how did it go to punting?
So the company I train with, it's called One-on-One Kicking. The guy's name was Jimmy Howell. He used to be a punter at UVA. And the way that one-on-one teaches is you need to be a combo guy. And when I say combo guy, what I mean is you need to kick field goals, you need to punt, you need to kick off, and you need to hold. And if you do all four of those things, you can be very successful at the next level and even the next level.
Right.
So they always taught me to do all three, all four. And it just kind of was natural to me because that's what I always did.
Was there any one moment in a game in high school or even in college, like either as a kicker or a punter? I guess specifically for us, we're kind of more. I don't know if you've heard, we've kind of got a decent kicker here in Baltimore, Jordan.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be asked to do a lot of that in the coming
Which
years.
is fair.
But was there one moment, one thing you accomplished in a game at any point that made you say, like, oh, right, yeah, this. That the NFL becomes reality for you at some point because of what you saw yourself do?
Yeah, I would say I think the reason I'm in the situation I am now is because I do have the confidence, and I always have ever since high school. I said I'm going to play in the NFL one day, and I feel like what we do, football in general, but even more specifically specialists, you have to have that confidence. And I'm not saying be cocky, but I'm saying when you go out on the field, you know you're going to make the kick, and you know you're going to punt the ball 50 yards. You have to know you're going to do that. If you do have a bad punt or kick, you can't let that get to you. You have to have a one-kick mentality and go straight back on the field the next punt or kick and do better. It's just how it has to be.
Where did that come from for you? How did you manage to take on that mentality?
I wish I could tell you. Part of it could be where I'm from, being from a small town, my high school coaches, my dad. But I couldn't even tell you.
Okay. I mean, it's just sort of always been a part of your nature then?
It has.
Okay.
Even through soccer, I always wanted to be the best. If I wasn't the best on the team, then I wasn't very happy.
How would you handle, like specifically when you were a kid, how would you handle a missed kick when you were in college? What would it look like as you were coming off the field, as you were on the sideline, even after the game?
Well, what I did is I kind of gave myself 15 seconds to be upset, and then after that 15 seconds, I have to forget about it.
Okay. And what do those 15 seconds look like? Is it F bombs? Is it you like are you throwing things, or is it more
Yeah,
like
you can't noticeably see anything if
okay.
you were watching the TV. It would just
Okay.
look like me walking off the field, but
All right.
I'm mad in there.
Jordan Stout is with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. He's the Ravens' new punter, selected in the 4th round on Saturday. Jordan, are there guys that you've looked to in the punting game? And obviously, there's like the elephant in the room, I guess, is that Sam Koch has been here for a very long time and has been one of the standards in terms of punting. And a lot of people credit him with kind of revolutionizing the concept of punting. Was he someone that maybe you had looked to, given his what we call it the golf bag that he kind of brought to the sport over these last 10 or so years?
Yeah, one of the best things about the situation I'm in is I'm gonna get to learn from one of the best to ever do it, and that's gonna be so surreal. He's a phenomenal punter, and I've learned so much in the last 4 months. I can't imagine how much knowledge he's accumulated through the past 17 years. So just to be in a room with him and take his brain a little bit is going to be unbelievable.
I mean, it's incredible what he's done. Jordan, do you have a similar style? I think a lot of people were comparing you to Matt Araiza in the draft, right? The San Diego State punter, but he's got this like can boot the ball 90 yards. But then you look at some of his other numbers, and you're like, oh, I can see why maybe Jordan was the first punter taken in this draft.
Yeah.
Do you pride yourself on having that kind of golf bag of various punts that you can go to in certain situations to maximize the value and not just be a guy that can boom the ball forever, but hey, that doesn't help all that much because it's going into the end zone?
Yeah, I do. And, the thing is I have probably 10, 11, 12 punts that I could pull out if need be. But right now, I think the thing I need to focus on is directional punting, pinning it on the sideline, and just pretty much relying on the basics. And then after I get comfortable and the coaches get comfortable with me, that's when we start pulling the rest of those punts out of my bag and start to experiment with those a bit.
What about
and of course, if the coaches want me to use those specialty punts right away, then that's what I'll do. But
Sure. I get that entirely, man. Whatever it is that they want from you, man, you're just trying to make your way through in the NFL. I completely understand it. Jordan, what about as a holder? You referenced that earlier, and of course that's another part of what's made Sam so great here in Baltimore over the years is he's held for the greatest kicker in the history of football, and that operation has been very clean for a very long time. I know it's holding is something you've even spent a lot of time with during the course of the draft process, right?
Absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what it is that you've been doing and how comfortable you are as a holder? And for those of us that are idiots that just think like, all you got to do is catch a football and get it down, what have you learned about the art of being a holder?
Right. So I held in 2020 for a guy named Jake Pinniger, and because that's the year I was handling long field goals, I wasn't doing the short ones as well. And I was good at the time, but since the off season, I've spent so much time on perfecting that because I never knew where I was going to end up. I could have ended up with Tucker, and that's what happened. So I've worked a lot on it. I've gotten really good at it. Not that I wasn't good at it before, but I feel like I've reached new heights, and I know that's crazy to say because I'm literally just holding. But it's small as me hitting my spot every time, me being able to get the laces around regardless of what side they're on. And I've been around a lot of kickers this offseason, and they all praise my holding, and that means a lot because it's something I've worked really hard on.
I mean, that's important. Look, man, that's what's going to keep you in the NFL for a long time, right? Like that's the way that it goes. If you're a solid punter but you can't hold on to the football, then teams are going to say, I don't know. Like I don't know if we can keep an extra guy around to be a holder. Jordan Stout with us just another couple minutes here on Glenn Clark Radio. Jordan, obviously we don't know how this is going to play out, but if the opportunity for you is that you're the guy come week 1 of the NFL season for the Baltimore Ravens, how confident are you that you're ready to do all of the things that an NFL punter needs to do for a winning team?
It kind of goes back to what I was saying before in that confidence, and I've never been more ready. I think regardless of what happens, Ravens are going to be in really good shape next year.
I appreciate that, like there's got to be something a little uncomfortable about this and how you're handling it. I just need you to know that, right? Like the way you're handling it is quite well, and the respect and the deference that you're showing, and I imagine that's quite easy because you know just how good Sam Koch is.
Right.
Like you got to show deference to somebody like
No, you
that.
do. I mean, he's been in the league for 17 years. Like, he knows so much more than me, and I want to learn from that.
How exciting is it for your family and your friends? You're from Virginia. You went to Penn State. This is kind of like the perfect medium for everybody to be able to come see and watch you play games in the coming years, right?
Yeah, it's surreal. So we had a draft party in Nashville, and we were all there. I was there with 5 of my close guy friends, 4 of my close girlfriends, parents, aunt, uncle, family friends. And after I got drafted, there wasn't a dry eye in the whole place. And
Wow.
It was just so awesome to see all of my people in a room with me that cared that much about me. It was really cool.
Does it mean something that the Ravens have been a team that's constantly been ranked at the top of the special teams rankings? That punting for anybody is a big deal. Being an NFL, there's only 32 of these jobs available, right? It's not
Right.
like wide receiver where they're going to keep 6 on the roster. It's a big deal no matter where. But does it mean more that it's an organization that has so prioritized special teams in their history?
It 100% does, and that's why I'm so happy to be a Raven. That's part of it.
The other thing we got to ask about is we've seen a little bit of the video. Man, you kind of dropped a dime on a fake that we've seen so far. It was a rainbow. I mean, it was up there for a minute, but you can get away with that when the receiver's open like it. How much more do we how much more might we be able to see of Jordan Stout, the fake punter, over the course of the years?
4th down quarterback, as much as I need to be.
Hey, man, we love that. I was talking to my buddy Kyle Andrews, covers Penn State for the Center Daily Times, and he was like, dude, you don't realize how fast Jordan is. Like, he's really, really fast. What were you clocked in at? Believe it or not, we weren't paying a ton of attention to punter 40 times. Like, it wasn't.
Which is understandable.
What were you clocked in at?
I ran a 4.65.
Dude.
Or maybe it was a 4.63, but at the end of last spring, when I was in like good shape, I ran a 4.45.
Holy F! What?
Yeah, but I let the offseason get to me.
Okay.
Donuts and pizza.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So what you're saying is, if there are going to be running plays called for you on a fake punt, we might need to spend a couple of months like getting back to that place. Maybe a little less pizza and donuts in the coming months.
I'd say it'll take a month.
A month, and you're right back there.
Back in a specific program. Yeah.
I like that. Holy crap, man! 4.45. Jesus.
Yeah, it
dude.
shocked me too.
Like, did you think about maybe you should go back to soccer at some point?
No, I haven't thought about it.
God.
It just means my legs faster. I can be a better punter.
Oh man, that is wild. Jordan, it's great to get to know you, dude. What can we plug for you? Social media, anything that is you got going on. What can we get plugs in for?
Yeah, of course. Instagram is Jordan Stout 98. Twitter's Jordan Stout 92. That's good.
Give him a follow in those spots, man. We can't wait to see you here in Baltimore, man. Get to know you over the coming months. Jordan, congratulations on becoming a Baltimore Raven. May we be having these conversations for the next 20 years about what you're doing here in Baltimore. Appreciate you taking the time for us this morning.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.